nobody else was doing it. It was magical, it was different, it was, you know, it was something I grew up as a kid, always was fascinated with, telling a story, making a difference in some way, shape, or form, putting it out there. And now, look where we are. You have a cell phone, and you can pick it up and everyone shares their experience, right? It's a very weird world we live in now where some are doing it for the right reasons and some are doing it for different reasons. It's, you know, this whole influencer society that we live in now is a very interesting one because, I mean, you can put the ideas out there and when people gravitate to them, like what I'm basically trying to say is you need to put your content out there because everybody is doing it, but what's going to make you different? Okay, and that's what we're going to talk about today, is what's going to make you different. Now, the other thing I want to point out too is years ago we had a company called Spread the Sunshine, and we would go into schools and we would talk to students about their attitudes and their attitudes being contagious. And it was, I just want you to think about what's your philosophy? What's your takeaway? What kind of difference do you want to make in this world, or what impact do you want to make in the world? And how do you do it with what you're doing today? Are you doing it with what you're doing today? All of those things kind of tap in. And I think that with our times over the past year and a half, it has really made me go back and reflect on what's the philosophy and what am I trying to accomplish. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because what you put out there, you attract back to you. You really do. That there's a power of energy out there that you put it out, and this is what you attract back, because like-minded people, it's that likability factor, and we're going to talk about it, that trigger of influence, likability, because what you're putting out, it is going to come back to you. So this was our philosophy, or is my philosophy, about being a doer, making a difference. There's confidence in a smile, that you always have a choice. You've got a choice to do it or not to do it. Expect nothing less than the ultimate. If you're going to do it, go in full gusto. Attitudes are contagious. Boredom is the enemy, and enthusiasm is key. No one's going to jump on the bandwagon with you. If you're not enthusiastic about what you do, no one else is going to be enthusiastic about what you do. It is simple as that. But the big thing that I took away that I've taken away through my entire career, make it or make or break. The make or break part, when it's either you or someone else, and even colleagues of mine and some of the guys that are in my team, I always notice that if they're up for something, it's their attitude. Someone will always comment, it was how you made me feel, or it was your attitude of just the perception of the situation, how you took me there. So it does make a big difference. Now you're probably wondering, what the heck did some of these, there were tripods in some areas, there were 2 tongue cleaners on some of the spots here. So, and you know what, you can probably double up because we don't have all the tables full. So I'm sorry at home if you don't have this, but on the tables, you either have a tripod, because one of the things I always focus on is make sure you have a tripod when you're going out. It's easier to hold your camera. And then also these tongue cleaners. So the story with the tongue cleaners, anybody remember from the past when I was here about this tongue cleaner thing? So has anyone ever heard of the Aura brush? Okay, this is brilliant. This is a great, big, brand new audience here. But so the reason I put it here was, years ago, there was a doctor, Dr. Bob, and he created this tongue cleaner. He tried to sell it in stores, failed miserably. Nobody wanted to buy the darn thing. They were like, what is this? He tried to sell it online. He went to like shopping channels. It totally flopped. His whole goal there was, if you go back to the why did he do what he did? He was working in third world countries with people that had bad breath, that didn't have good oral hygiene, and he wanted to help with their breath. Like, talk about a why, right? Like, that's a very random why. But he was then about to give up. He went to a university, he went and did a presentation, and a student at the end of the class said, this is when YouTube first came out, pretty much, right? And he said, you know what? You should make a YouTube video on this. And he was like, oh, okay, whatever. And so they did. And when you look at videos today and videos here, it's a very simple video, but that was the turnaround that just literally launched the whole career and launched the Aura brush to having a character, this dirty tongue, this guy. Like, this is when YouTube just went crazy. And then Facebook came over with their video, and then you went into Instagram video, owned by Facebook, and then TikTok. But these were the pioneers, so to speak. So I want to show you how easy it can be to put something together that can make a wow impact.
Halitophobia, the irrational fear of bad breath. I'm a halitophobic. I'm not so much afraid of me having bad breath. I'm afraid of other people having bad breath. As in, hey buddy, your breath smells like crap. Maybe you should develop a case of halitophobia. Now I know what you're asking. How do we know if we have bad breath? You use this. You use a spoon. Now I know what you're thinking. A spoon, you eat with a spoon, you play spoons. You spoon your girlfriend. You take the spoon, you take the spoon and you stick it at the back of your tongue and gently scrape. Let it dry and take a whiff. If it stinks, your breath stinks. And if your breath stinks, this is the only kind of spooning you're gonna be getting. The smart viewer out there will note, to check your bad breath, you notice that we checked our tongue. 90% of bad breath comes from bacteria and residue on the tongue. On your tongue. Now your mom doesn't sound so stupid for telling you to brush your tongue, now does she? Tongues are like sponges, soaking up all that bacteria. Toothbrushes are meant to clean the smooth surfaces of your teeth, not your tongue. And the tongue scraper? You remember the sponge, right? The tongue scraper just goes over the top of your tongue. This ain't gonna work. And mouthwash? This is like trying to clean your carpet with a hose. You're just watering down the problem. And then there's the option that actually works. This, the Aura brush. The soft bristles feel great on your tongue. You just go back and forth a few times, then go all the way back, pull it forward, and see what comes off. It's the cure to bad breath. You can use this longer than your toothbrush. Use it in the morning, eliminate morning breath, fresh breath all day, and then use it at night, right before bed. You know what I'm talking about, huh? So do you and me and the rest of mankind a favor, get one of these. And your Uncle Steve, the one who looks like he's got a thick coat of fur on his tongue, get him one too. Put it in his Christmas stocking. He'll thank you for it later. His wife will, the kids will, everybody will be happier, trust me. Get your first Aura brush free.
So you see what they did there. They had get your first Aura brush free, aurabrush.com. Has anyone ever seen this before? Okay, you all think I'm crazy, don't you? Y'all think I'm nuts. I know it. Okay, so picture this. I'm watching this at home going, this is interesting. What the heck is this? But there was something, and the reason I'm telling you this is because it's the psychology of the share, okay? It's a different type of share, but I'm getting there. I'm getting to where we're going with sharing and caring and all these things. So for me personally, something triggered, and I was like, this sounds really interesting. Okay, I'm gonna get one of these. Okay, so I get it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, when I go out and do speaking engagements, like, if you're gonna speak up here, then, I mean, you're not wearing a mask and you're out and engaging with an audience. Doesn't matter if you're up here or you're in your business. If you have bad breath, that is a total turnoff, and everybody needs a darn Aura brush, right? So I was excited about this, and I called up Dr. Bob and their company, and it was just little at the time. It was like I talked to this one woman in their sales department, or maybe it was in HR, and explained what I was doing, and she thought I was nuts, because like, okay, can you send me like 100 of these a month just so that I have a stock of these? Because you couldn't go, they were in the States, so you couldn't get them in Canada, right? So they would send them, and then, so that was, months would get by, and I would get these Aura brushes, but now Dr. Bob has gone so, like, because of that, they had a whole, I want you to check them out because it is pretty epic when you go back in time, that they started with this one commercial and then it started into a whole series of Diaries of a Dirty Tongue. And this guy would go on adventures and all of these, it was just crazy videos. And you know the one thing you never heard them say? Buy an Aura brush. Buy my Aura. It was just an explainer video, really, right? Mouthwash does this does this, toothpaste does this, all of it. It's just a fun explanation of an explainer type video that put it out there, and then they had a lure at the end that said, for your first one, aurabrush.com/ get your first one free. And then what happened there was, they had influencers weren't a thing quite yet, but people were starting to video themselves more and more at this point in time, and people would then do unpackaging videos. Do you remember when that was a big deal? People would like, what's in the box, or unpackage this, and they'd be like, I'm a reviewer, and I just got this part, I'm gonna show you what it does, and they'd do the whole thing, ooh, look at this, oh. And so they're promoting themselves, but they're also tagging the Aura brush. So then Aura brush grabs their content, shares it on their page, and what is that? That's social proof, okay? So we've got I'm gonna go through triggers of influence, but I wanna break this down for you so you realize and you understand that we're just not gonna go make a video. There are reasons and there is a total science behind why we're doing what we're doing.